You're about to witness a former bomb stepper beat the state attorney general in court as his own attorney, thereby crowning himself king of these here kangaroo courts by his own hand. Then, Your Honor, if I could please call Security Officer Mike Macemer to the stand.
1 hour later.
Your Honor, the Commonwealth would rest.
Commonwealth has rested. Do you wish to offer any testimony, sir?
Defendant would like to present Exhibit 21 in December 20th motion to dismiss due to malicious prosecution.
And tell me what that is.
Your Honor, this is an email during discovery with the prosecution, and number 12 specifically brings up the jurisdictional issue. I asked the Attorney General, defendant would like to know why the Adams County District Attorney is not prosecuting this case. Defense would like to see the associated documents relieving this office of prosecutorial duties and assigning the State Attorney General's office. The Commonwealth contends that this information is not relevant to your charges and is non-discoverable material. Your Honor, if I may, I would maintain that statement today. That is completely irrelevant to the testimony we heard today and why we're here. I would tend to agree with you, Counselor. That is not discoverable information because it should have already been entered into the record. And if we look here in Pennsylvania statutes, Title 71, Section 732-205, under criminal prosecutions, there's multiple ways for the Attorney General to take over this case, none of which fit my bill. Alright, I gotta hit pause right there and explain this. The Attorney General automatically gets jurisdiction on matters such as public corruption, fraud, and racketeering. For anything else, they have to petition for jurisdiction in front of a third-party judge, which never happened. There has been no other case by another judge to assign the prosecution. There's been no third party to discuss this assignment, and it hasn't been filed to the record. So the Attorney General is correct. It isn't discoverable. It should have already been filed to the record. Let me pause right there and explain why they actually took over prosecution. I was investigating the real estate and bankruptcy racket operated by our state judiciary.
So you don't co-own a house with Miranda Blazek, the assistant district attorney that I am currently suing for racketeering?
And they arrested me for trespassing in a public foyer.
I don't consent! I don't consent!
They seized my phone for trespassing and I tracked it to the president of the county bar's office.
So, you see that? Here is the courthouse. Here's the sheriff's office. District attorney's office right up in there. This is where my phone is. This is Entwistle and Roberts Law, the powerhouse attorney family that I was investigating for judicial conspiracy, corruption, criminal misconduct, tied with the DA and the courts and the judges. Well, actually, my phone is in a shed out behind Entwistle and Entwistle Roberts Law.
They can't return that phone to me without wiping the tracking data, a capability our county DA doesn't have. And that's why the state attorney general's office had to take over prosecuting this case.
That's what you slipped in! That's what was on your shoe! And that explains the abrasion on your palm!
Check out how unbelievable this is. Special Agent Michael Carlson, who lives right here in Gettysburg, pulls out an egregious search warrant to break into everything in my phone. Because his father-in-law is the one writing the fraudulent deeds for the real estate racket we were investigating upon arrest.
Let me run that back for you.
Here's where that racket allows the president of the county bar to utilize her daughter as a straw buyer for this property, which floats this property into escrow until 1 minute after that last deed gets filed. This deed gets filed on the same property, single-handedly authored, witnessed, notarized, and granted by one single individual, Special Agent Michael Carlson's father-in-law.
That's what you slipped in! That's what was on your shoe! And that explains the abrasion on your palm! Damn, I'm good! Can you feel that?
Alright, so now that you know why the Attorney General's really prosecuting this case, let's get back to trial.
We'll note that for the record. Your next point.
Your Honor, this is a jurisdictional issue. Motion to dismiss this entire case due to lack of prosecutorial jurisdiction.
Thank you for that. However, your motion is denied. Next point, please.
Objection, Your Honor. You have no jurisdiction to make that order. Bailiff?
All right.
Please enter this as Exhibit 3. Let the record reflect that this is the Supreme Court's appointment of Your Honor yourself to sit on this bench from January 10th, 2022 until January 10th, 2022. Today's date is May 18th, 2022. You have no jurisdiction, Your Honor. Your Honor, we are well beyond the issues that the defendant is raising at this point in time. We've proceeded to trial, we've concluded testimony. Alright, we're gonna have to pause right there and go back to scene 1.
Flashback.
Then, Your Honor, if I could please call Security Officer Mike Masomer to the stand. Once testimony proceeds, trial has officially commenced, so when I get these charges thrown out for jurisdictional issues, the state legally can't try me again without the risk of double jeopardy.
One debt to society later.
This is me later at a public meeting trolling Head of Security Mark Masomer about it.
You didn't hear about how the trial wound up? That I needed you to come in and testify for then when I threw it out, they couldn't hit me for double jeopardy? That was pretty tricky, huh?
I only learned that trick from experience. I was literally suing his spouse for racketeering for charging me twice with the same crime.
So you don't co-own a house with Miranda Blazek, the assistant district attorney that I am currently suing for racketeering?
When he arrested me.
I don't consent! I don't consent! You guys thought you could come in and testify and lie on the record and just have the judge hide it, when actually that's what I needed you to do, Mark. I needed you to testify because once you testify, they can't come back and charge me again for the same crimes, right? Excuse me. Right, Mark? You kind of fell into my trap with that one. That was comical.
End of flashback.
Any issue he wanted to raise regarding Your Honor or any other discoverable issue prior to, coming here today should have been addressed prior to our trial. Alright, we gotta hit pause again because we just caught the Attorney General in a lie. This is where I emailed her about it in discovery on July 20th, and this is where I submitted it as an exhibit in a written motion to the judge and the prosecution on December 20th. And this is what Pennsylvania law actually says about it. The issue of lack of subject matter jurisdiction may be raised at any time by the party, and that an objection to lack of subject matter jurisdiction can never be waived. That means the judge legally can't ignore this. So here's the Attorney General lying twice about it not being brought up before and dead wrong about time limits on jurisdictional issues. This is non-waivable, Your Honor. You have absolutely no jurisdiction to sit on that bench right now and overview this case, just like she has no jurisdiction to prosecute this case. Alright, well, fair point. Nevertheless, your motion is denied. Next issue. You have no jurisdiction to overview this case, Your Honor. Today is not January 10th, 2022. You have not made an order on January 10th, 2022. Every single order you've done has been out of your jurisdiction, Your Honor. Alright, man, this one right here deserves a little backstory.
By sheer coincidence.
The Recusinator. Check out this video on my channel on how I recused the 11th judge presiding over this case before this. Order of the court, this judge is recusing himself. That's how Judge Lewis got appointed to my case. For a day. I'm literally coming into this trial with zero chance to lose. But the state installed a retired judge. These retired judges rule completely outside the law with no fear of re-election because they are appointed in their retirement. He is literally here to make sure I'm found guilty of something so I can't countersue the state for false arrest. All this 40-year experienced judge has to do is follow the law about prosecutorial jurisdiction, the law that I cite right here in his courtroom, and throw this case out. But he doesn't. Which is the only reason that I even get to bring up the fact that he has no jurisdiction. He must not have been paying attention to my channel because in this video I publicly warned him about this before trial. Hey, Judge Richard A. Lewis, face down, ass up, dress on, wig on, when I proverbially bend you over that Adams County bench and fuck you in front of everybody. Dick. Thereby cementing my status as king of these here kangaroo courts. I publicly warned him repeatedly. Sun Tzu, the author of The Art of War. Every battle is won or lost before it is fought. Like I said, I only decided to engage this thing because coming into it, I knew I legally could not lose this case.
Graduation day.
You have no jurisdiction, Your Honor. I understand.
Okay, thank you for pointing it out. Now, nevertheless, we're going to move to closing arguments. Any closing argument you might have.
Not nevertheless, Your Honor. You have no jurisdiction to even bang your gavel in this case.
Sir, you have already told me.
This case, you have no jurisdiction. She has no jurisdiction. Defense motions to crown himself king of these here kangaroo courts. Does anyone with any jurisdiction object?
Sir, your motion is denied.
As king of these kangaroo courts,
Sir,
I declare that it's time for a song and dance number.
we're gonna take a recess.
Goose, I think she's lost that love and feeling. You never close your eyes anymore when I kiss your lips. There's no tenderness like before in your fingertips. Try not to show it, but Christine, baby, I know it. You've lost that love and feeling. Whoa, that love and feeling. You've lost that love and feeling. Now it's gone, gone, gone. Whoa, 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 ba-dum, 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 ba. You know a love like that come around every day. No way. It's so embarrassing. I'm the Deputy Attorney General. Don't be throwing it away.
Thousands of tears later.
So, having said all that, I do find that the defendant is guilty of disorderly conduct.
Your Honor, I am fine with no fine for the defendant. However, I would like a short period of probation because I believe that the defendant needs to undergo a mental health evaluation. That's my request. For disorderly conduct, Your Honor, that's ridiculous. I believe that the judicial racketeering that I brought across the desk in this case and the Deputy Attorney General of Criminal Prosecutions has not produced one case of fraud, one case of judicial corruption, one case of falsifying documents, and is instead finding that there's something wrong with my brain. I don't think there's something wrong with my brain. I think there's something wrong with Pennsylvania judicial ethics. The state literally forced this through to cover their butts so I couldn't sue for false arrest. There is zero rule of law in Pennsylvania. So I got a legit attorney doing the appeal to the Superior Court, but we're only in this position because the Pennsylvania judiciary broke the law to cover for the judicial real estate racket. So why would the Superior Court act any different on my appeal? If I'm lying, I'm dying. Here's the 900-page, $50,000 appeal presented to this same Superior Court. Involving the same attorney family that wound up with my cell phone, where I actually pulled these falsified deeds from. This same Superior Court has already seen this scandal and ignored it. Why? Because it's a bipartisan real estate and bankruptcy racket operated by our entire judiciary. These bankruptcies that we dragged onto the court record conducted by our district attorney and Special Agent Michael Carlson's trust fund family have to be approved by the Federal Middle District Bankruptcy Court. That's our same regional Pennsylvanians staffing that regional federal court, whom has our regional FBI ensuring this doesn't get investigated. This is former federal agent David Schaubacker, whom later segues into the Pennsylvania bar hierarchy as the chair of the Family Law Division. And here he is assigned to equitably divide assets in that divorce for the president of the county bar's daughter, immediately granting every single liquid asset to wife, then balancing out on paper by triple overvaluing investment properties and putting them on the husband's books to make it tally up to an equitable distribution. Yep. That and the fraudulent deeds went before this same Superior Court that's hearing my appeal, and they just ignored it that time too. Once this Superior Court ignores my appeal, I gotta pay for an appeal to the state Supreme Court, who can legally ignore my case. They can completely agree that crimes were committed and policies broken, but legally ignore the case because it's so one-off, it's conveniently not worth their time to hear.
I know it can be hard to believe, but we're on your side.
That's our current state Supreme Court Chief Justice Max Baer. When self-admitted serial rapist Bill Cosby appealed to his court, Max heard the case and threw it out due to prosecutorial misconduct. you would think with all of his concern about prosecutorial overreach on Pennsylvania predators,
Old Max might raise an eyebrow when my case comes across his desk twice needing his signature. But he's such a Pennsylvania slob, he doesn't even realize he's only installing this last fixer, Judge Lewis, to my case for 1 day.
and if that's not some good old Pennsylvania cousin fornicating cronyism right there.
Old Max was the chair of the Family Law Division, just like Special Agent Schombacher. Right.
I know it can be hard to believe, but we want your mom, we need to close the door and see them in chambers, whether you're 7 or you're 17.
That's what you slipped in. That's what was on your shoe. And that explains the abrasion on your palm. Damn, I'm good. Can you feel that?
Like I said before, there's zero rule of law in Pennsylvania. Any club member of this bipartisan real estate or bankruptcy racket that gets pinched by the law cannot go down or they might turn state's witness.
Which, just in my county alone, enabled them to hide my triple attempted murder and stabbing by a member.
So how'd you get off for stabbing me?
Well, I'm not off. I actually,
Yeah, you got off with murder, pulling your pistol on me.
well, I'm sorry.
So you're
And hit me with state pen time for exposing it.
I don't consent! I don't consent!
So basically, the state is playing the same Bill Cosby game by letting the statute of limitations expire.
I know it can be hard to believe, but we're on your side.
But the story doesn't have to end here. Just like the media suppressed the Epstein scandal until it got too big.
This is Vanessa Pelliccio, our lead investigative reporter for the paper. This is the paper that reported my stabbing and triple attempted murder as police, gun, knife, pulled during fight about shopping cart when it was all his weapons and he actually stabbed me. This is Gettysburg. This is how it works.
Why hasn't the paper picked this up? I can give you this. Can I give you that? Can I give you the card? Can I give you my card that shows this is my card?
You have the power to do something about it, and all you have to do is share this story. I'm completely shadow banned online, and the few times I do get through to people,
If I sound like a foil-hatted veteran, because I got one on, because I am Gettysburg's foil-hatted veteran.
my story sounds so incredible it's easily dismissed. I need your help getting this in front of people that will share and carry this as press. They need to hear this coming from independent sources like yourself.
Check out some of my other videos. It's been a 4-year investigative journey to get here. And make sure you're subscribed. There's still a lot more story to tell.
Because Judge Lewis knowingly ruled out of his jurisdiction, he's not protected by judicial immunity. We get to sue him out of his retirement yacht money for the cost of the appeal.
Alright, well, fair point. I'm gonna continue to cover this for the full-length docu-series, Tiger King 2, King of the Kangaroo Courts.
And this is us with our tiger in the courtroom. We had our spirit animal in the courtroom. Can you guys believe that? We actually pulled that off.
She's trying to steal my tiger! She's trying to steal my tiger!